And this is what we call epic failure. The truth is, you just had an epic learning, although if all you're focused on is what went wrong, and you don't celebrate the fact you got 99% the way to this 100% goal, I'm like, progress equals happiness. But if we don't measure the progress in even millimeters, everyone's looking for the mile. Everyone's looking for the mile.
You're right. You're right.
I was like, okay, what if today that millimeter was what got you over the rise? That's what got you momentum. That's what got you.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Knowledge Bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Chuck Hogan. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. He currently is a managing partner for Your Best Life, an organization that helps people elevate finance, family, fitness, and faith to live their best life now. Chuck's 35-year background and volunteer mentorship in elite behavior environment has contributed to a vast level of experience in cultivating leaders, management strategies, and training principles. His unique backgrounds of sales gives him a rare perspective that engages him to successfully guide entrepreneurs and CEOs and top executives to higher heights. Please help me welcome Chuck with Maximizing True Success. Cedric Francis, and you are listening to Lead to Greatness.
I am one of the co-founders of an organization called YBL, Your Best Life. Quite frankly, we developed this during COVID. This was all about engaging with people where we could come together and commune. There were still some places in this world that were open. So we said, let's go ahead and start elevating ourselves in faith, family, fitness, and finance. Yeah. And so we picked the first spot and we said, let's go to Costa Rica. Let's go hang out for a week in the tropical sun and let's commune, let's learn. And we invited this amazing speaker named Allison Armstrong. Long story short, I have spent the last 30 years in behavioral sciences as a neurostrategist, helping people go further, farther, faster, to find their truth, their peace, and to find prosperity. Because I got to tell you, I know a lot of folks that have found the science of success, but they lack the art of fulfillment. And so they made a ton of money, but spent a lot of it trying to find happiness in the latter half of their life. And so my passion is helping convert people from being business operators to owners. Yeah. So for me, a YBL is literally a lifelong dream come true. And I feel blessed every single day that we get to engage in this community. It's been remarkable. There's this age-old saying, you spend the first half of your life amassing wealth, and you spend the last half of your life spending all your wealth to get your health and vitality and your fun back. And so part of it comes down to perspective. Prosperity doesn't have a chronology to it. Experience does. I know some folks, young bucks that are out there making it happen, and they're like turning and burning. Oh, I made a killing in crypto. Where I start to find it to be interesting, I don't know, where some place along the line, people started getting wants confused with needs. And here's what I know. You need air, you need water, you need food, you need shelter. And then as humans, we're built for connection. We are built for love and connection. Yeah. Without it, life doesn't feel full at all. Why is this important? A lot of people are chasing wants. I want those new Jordans. I want that ride. I want that Ferrari. And I'm like going, but you have a family of 6. What are you going to do? Strap the kids to the roof? Like this doesn't make any, that not only would Child Protective Services come, but that would be highly irresponsible, and it's going to kill your vibe anyway. Absolutely. You everyone's in tow. And so why do I go there? People look at status symbols, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Pantera, Rolex, and they go, ooh, I've made it. And I go, if you want to tell time, my iWatch does pretty well. I'm not, again, no judgment. You need transportation. You want a Ferrari. You want the Lambo. And I go, okay, why? Because you think it's going to give you the status and the prestige. Because this is the other side of that equation. If you have these 5 innate needs, which we talked about, which was air, water, food, shelter, love, and connection, you have 6 human needs. And I learned these from one of my great mentors, Tony Robbins. I was actually a senior trainer with Tony for 22 years.
Wow.
And I can tell you, he talks about we all have a need for certainty or safety. We all have a need for variety / I'll call it uncertainty, significance, love, connection, growth, and contribution. These 6, the only one that crosses between the 5 essential needs and the 6 human needs is love and connection. So where you're spending most of your time is what you will pursue. The confusion is I've never met anyone who was chasing their wants that was completely meeting all their needs.
Whew.
But I have met people who are meeting their needs and they have higher quality wants. Someone said, give me an example. I said, okay, their needs are being met at the highest level, 8s and 9s out of a 10. What's beautiful about this, they go, now I can give back. Now I can go ahead and start that shelter. Now I can run a soup kitchen. Now I can go ahead and create a halfway house. Now I can go ahead and give informational content for free to help spur people, motivate them, elevate them, lift them, cherish them, honor them, collaborate with them. And I go, wow, you're really this beautiful human being, not a human doing. And you're living in this space and grace where you can actually find the modalities of self and share those with other people. To the younger generation, I would say this: it's not mutually exclusive. You meeting your needs and living a fulfilling life, because I can teach you the science to success. That's attaining skill. That does not give you experience. And that comes with time and age and time in the saddle. And I go, you may have all the skill in the world, but if you're not committed and you don't have drive, and I apologize if this sounds crass, but you are wasting your time and everyone else's. Because the last time I checked, the good Lord in the universe blessed you with 24 hours in a day. What you choose to do with it and invest it, how you choose to show up, those parts of you. And we have a family motto, and maybe this will help. Here's the truth. You can be doing your best, but never being your best. When you be your best, you will always do your best.
Wow.
And this changes the narrative as to how people are showing up. And I go, whoa, okay. Does that mean it's going to be perfect? I said, there's never been perfection. The universe doesn't roll that way. It's not the Lorax. You don't have trees that are all like topiaries and perfectly shaped. I said, there are no straight lines in nature. So why would we criticize and objectify things looking for the perfection? Because practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. And so if you practice poorly, you will receive more of what you focus on, because where focus goes, energy flows.
Those are a load of knowledge. This is good. Well, you know, the time of the release of the recording is going to be November, and it's getting close to the end of the year. And right now you have people thinking about, you know, all the things, trying to get everything in order. So people, they got the goals and got the, this is what I'm going to do. And so I want to talk about goals. And I know I am on the podcast right now with the right individual to talk about goals, because you've been doing this for over 3 decades. And I really want to get into the goals and even some of the mistakes people make when setting goals. So let me ask you this question. How do you approach goal setting?
Yes. And so I learned a technique many years ago, and it was actually from Tony Robbins. It was called a rapid or results planning method. And here's the challenge I had with it, quite frankly. And I always give credit to source. I could never get it to work. I tried for 20 years. I couldn't get it to work. And people go, why? And I said, I finally figured out what the challenge was. So I'm going to use our hand as just an example, because this is a great tool. And the good Lord put it on you, so that way you might as well use it.
Right.
So most people start goal setting by, they come up with an outcome or goal first. So they'll pick it. That'll be the ring finger. And then what they'll do is that ring finger, they go, I'm going to back into an emotion, feeling, or reason why. Because now I have this goal, and now I have all this reasons why, all of these feelings, emotions, the purpose of my life. And then I'm going to take mammoth action. But here's the challenge. Your index finger and your middle finger are out of the equation. So this is what we call the gap. And most people, this is where they have challenges in setting goals. They're trying to close the gap, but they don't know how.
Mm.
So, and here's where it gets funky. You ready for this? This is the
Yes,
good stuff.
this is
You
good.
can get 99% of the way to that goal, and your brain functions as a computer. It's binary, zeros and ones, black and white, yes and no, pass or fail. So if you don't hit the goal 100%, 100%, not 99.9, 100%, your brain will tell you you failed. It's really, brother, please. You didn't have it to get over the finish line. You couldn't even sneeze it over the finish line. You couldn't fall forward. What is wrong with you? And this is where it gets frightening, because now all those emotions, all that identity, all those feelings are wrong because you didn't do it. So you're none of these things. You're none of them. And this is what we call epic failure. The truth is, you just had an epic learning. Although if all you're focused on is what went wrong, and you don't celebrate the fact you got 99% the way to this 100% goal, I go,
Yes.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Who made you judge, jury, and executioner? I'm like,
Yes.
progress equals happiness. But if we don't measure the progress in even millimeters, everyone's looking for the mile. Everyone's looking for the mile.
You're right. You're right.
And I was like, okay, the meter wasn't good enough. I go, what if today that millimeter was what got you over the rise? That's what got you momentum. That's what got you motivated. That's what got you into the mojo of being able to go further, farther, faster. Then, wow, that might have been the biggest life lesson of all. And it was a millimeter. It wasn't even a meter or a mile. So I figured out a hack around this that actually makes it so much better. I'm going to reference a very dear person named Simon Sinek. If you know Simon's work, oh my gosh, read The Infinite Game, y'all. If you haven't had a chance, The Infinite Game, it will change your concepts about how we function in life. Now, here's the ticket with this, though. I figured out if you start with an outcome or goal and you link it to a purpose and then you take mammoth action, you're not going to get to where you need to. You may make some progress, but you're not going to be fulfilled by it. And so this is the biggest fable that we've all been told. You ready? Do what you love. Just do it. If you love it, do it. And I go, I know a lot of people that like eating potato chips and sitting on the sofa watching football. I'm going to highly recommend you don't do that, even if you love it. And so someone was like going, well, where does passion come from? Do what you're passionate about. I said, passion comes from you exercising the skill, leveling up in your talents, committing time and energy, and cultivating the experience. Now, all of a sudden, you have a huge appreciation. And we can get passionate around that. That's the same thing in a relationship. Not infatuation. Not the honeymoon phase. I've been married to my sweetheart for 35 years, and she still puts up with me. That's love. That's passion. That's connection. And we discuss people, including my kids. They go, man, you guys walk around holding hands all the time. And I don't know, this PDA. And I was like, oh, get used to it. It only gets better with age, baby. So let me finish this for you. Start with your passion and your purpose and your why first. This allows you to actually grab onto things in life. The thumb is actually your purpose in life. In fact, I'm going to put it a different way. You can ask yourself this question. How do you need to feel most often? Wait, what? Valued, passionate, driven, necessary, loving, kind, connected, strong, humorous, intelligent, giving, caring, centered. I go, I haven't heard anything bad yet. They go, oh, yeah, but how do I get there, Chuck? I go, it's easy. Pick a direction. This is called the pointer finger for a reason. Pick a direction. I'm going this way. And I'm going to pick whatever allows me to feel this way most often. Walking the dog, playing with the kids, hugging my wife, going on holiday, learning something new, stepping up and meeting better challenges. I pray for new ones every single day. Every single day. And from this direction, now you get to go to identity. This bad boy this is where it all comes together. And you're going to be able to put a bow on this real quick, because identity is who you are. I'm a loving God, a gift from God. I have a sense of humor. I have massive intelligence. I have a heart as big as the sea. I have opportunity because I am a being of light and I live in it every single day. And we're all made of the same stuff: protons, neutrons, and electrons. So that means we're all beings of light together. How can we not resonate with one another? From this space, I also need to remember that I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner. So I'm going to go ahead and alleviate judgment. I am not going to compare myself to anyone else because I'm uniquely divine in my constitution and makeup, and the universe placed me here for a purpose and a reason. So I'm going to live in this grace in this space, and I'm going to honor self. It doesn't mean I'm always satisfied with myself. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to be the guy who's my own best cheerleader, but I am going to be real and go, you know what? I woke up this morning, I drew breath, my heart was beating, I got to kiss my wife, got to hug my kids, and I get to make a difference in this world today.
Yeah.
And from there, when you have your purpose, your direction, and your identity, now you pick an outcome and goal. Because then it's not some hypothetical number. Goal setting, let me be very clear with you. The mindset required to go into goal setting, your mindset is based on your heart set. If it fills you up and makes you feel full, how can it be wrong? Yes. So why would I want to be this person that's a naysayer or just going with the flow? I don't live the life of a lemur. I'm not jumping off the cliff. And then when you take mammoth action, brother, it's all of it together. You have to pry these dreams from my cold, dead hand in order to steal them from me. But if you have a weak purpose, you can't even hold on to anything. Wow. That's where it comes together. It seems so simple, and that's because it is. We create so much complexity, and the number one rule in business, you want to kill execution? Make it complex. It's true.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's so true. And I see people getting in their own way. They go, Chuck, I have all these barriers to entry. And I said, I know. So when are you going to step out of the way?
Wow, that's so true.
When are you going to stop being the chokehold on you? When are you going to be the person that actually outsources you? This is the number one thing that entrepreneurs have a challenge with, because who needs to be in control, my friend? And yet I'm reminded that Bill Gates owns less than 10% of Microsoft. It's not about ownership. You don't have to have ownership to take ownership.
My God. Yeah.
This is the narrative. This is where, people will use softeners. They'll use every excuse under the sun to go ahead and justify. And I say, then you will be in the lowest 1% of 1%ers because you don't have a vision.
Yeah.
You're a dreamer. I love dreamers, but there's a difference. Dreams come from outside of you. Vision comes from within you.
Wow. Knowledge.
That's it. So if you're going to elevate, and this is going to be a very unpopular statement, I'm going to make it anyway. Honor and love your family, pick your friends. You are the company you keep. You are. If you show me the top 5 people you spend the most time with, I can show you the quality of your life. I can also tell you within $5,000 to $10,000 what your income is. People go, what? I go, it's true. There are those that we love and they can't get out of their own way. And you are a being of light. So as long as you quell, marginalize, and minimalize your energy signature, your vibration, you will continue to attract people into your world that resonate at a low frequency. Until you remove judgment, beratement, comparison, and let your light shine, you cannot experience your full potential. You will have a semblance of it, but it will not be full.
Knowledge. Chuck, because you talked about the community aspect of it. How do you separate if you're in the room? You want to gravitate to what you can relate to. If you're in a relationship, you want to gravitate to somebody else who's just as broken as you are. It's like it's a natural gravitation, and we call it vibes. Oh man, we got that connection.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because that's a dangerous aspect of this.
So it's easy. This is going to sound very controversial. I'm going to put it out there anyway. In Asia, you have the Tongs. In Japan, you have the Yakuza. In Italian families, you have the mafia. In the streets of Compton and other, rural areas, you have gangs. In Latino communities, you have Mi Familia. So why do I go there? You don't often hear of the accolades of any of these institutions. You hear that they are rallying around different negative activities. Why is that? Well, there's perceived power. And there's an attraction strategy. That thug life looks real attractive to some people. And it's because they don't know any better. So they succumb to it. Others then go to a different gang, their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. They end up going to church, mass. They end up finding prosperity and peace in contribution. They work at the soup kitchen and you're like going, man, I'm a member of a tribe.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we are tribal beings and we're made to connect with other people.
Mm.
What we aspire for most is love and passion. What people will settle for is connection. It's the most rudimentary form of relationship. And tribalism is literally, if you look at the levels of spiral dynamics and how we all have levels of relationships, it literally is self, and then the next one is tribe. Well, why is that so important to understand? When we don't feel like we belong, our deepest desire is to feel like we're part of something bigger than us.
Mm.
The shift is, if you go back and you look at the greatest population density on the planet, the heroes of our time, and that was the baby boomer generation.
Yeah.
And you look at the drivers and strivers and their work ethic and how they showed up, and it's like, whoa, what a difference that made. They're like, oh, but those were the days of IBM.
Mm.
And you worked for 45 years for General Electric or IBM or a company, and then you got the gold watch and you got to retire and you had a pension and you didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Well, those days are gone, my man.
Gone. Bye-bye.
So if you look at my generation, which is the Gen Xers, we're kind of the residual effect of that same drive, but now there's strive, because now we had computers and optics and leveraging, and it's like compounding, and it's like, ooh, okay, I'm seeing a little different push here,
Yeah.
And we're the generation of the Michael Jacksons. And so what you don't know about me is I'm an old breakdancer. True story. So
Amazing.
why do I go there? Generational nuances create these drivers within us about the company we keep. Now, these guys, we came together because of dance. We came together because of locking, popping, ticking, and, Taco Boogaloo Shrimp, myself, Javier, Adolfo, pretty cool stuff. And they go, okay, you don't look very ethnic. I go, oh, I'm half Irish. And they go, cool, but you can move. And so they didn't care about my ethnicity. They cared about my energy. They cared about my heart and my integrity. They cared about the value systems. So where things start to shift is, if you're looking for a company to keep, look at the values of the people that you're spending most time with.
Yeah.
So why do I go there? And the human condition is, you'll do more to avoid pain than you'll do to give yourself pleasure. I can use working out as an example. It's good for you. And if you did it, you probably wouldn't be hypertensive. You probably wouldn't be stressed out. You probably wouldn't be going to your doctor going, man, doc, my heart's beating fast. He goes, well, you need to start working out. You're hypertensive. You're pre-diabetic. We've got an issue.
Yeah.
Oh, so all I need to do is put down the McDonald's fries and start lifting a weight or two and go on a walk every now and then. Yep. It's good for you. Here's the crazy part. Had you been doing that, you wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah.
But now, because you heard bad news, you'll do more to avoid the pain, and now you'll take action. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
So when there's value alignment, this is when we make a shift from being like-minded to being like-hearted, because the only way connect together, maybe it's not the only way, but it's going to be the most valuable way, is that when you are vulnerable and in gratitude to another human being and in appreciation, it removes judgment. Now you're living in space and grace. And the last part is, there's no winning or losing. And this is where it gets brilliant, is when you're enjoying this journey called life, you just want to stay in it for as long as you can. And there's no winners and no losers, because we're all winning at that point. We're all Charlie Sheen at that point, because you're above ground, drawing breath and enjoying and celebrating life. So when we start to look at attraction strategies with other people, I ask myself, in fact, I'm going to give my mother and father a lot of credit, because they got married in the 1960s when segregation was alive and well. And believe it or not, when I was little, I looked very Asian, and I was segregated against in school, bullied, you name it, called all kinds of derogatory names. They go, come on, dude, you look about as Anglo as they get. And I go, not when I was young. And when you are in Maine, of all places, where my father's from, we moved over from Japan when I was 3, going to school, and they're like going, you don't look like the rest of us. Well, my name's Charles Francis Hogan II. I'm named after my Irish grandfather. They go, you don't look like a Hogan lad. There's something a little wrong with you. I don't know if I like you. I was like, I'm sorry. I can't change this. And I wouldn't for anything. Why do I go there? What someone thinks about you is none of your business.
Say that again.
What someone else thinks of you is none of your business. If you are going to buy into a lie, have a role model that's a good liar. Have a role model that is going to be someone that's going to give it to you straight, not some conjecture or opinion or baloney. Because at the end of the day, you're not broken. God doesn't create junk. For a fact, and we can go scientific for a moment. If you're made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and this is Deepak Chopra, he goes, then you're made up of units of light. Sorry, not sorry. The ground you walk on, the food that you eat, another soul, I said, it's all energy. And you're swimming in a sea of it. So how is it that you're dehydrated and have no energy? How is it that you can say, I can't find friends? No, because you are judging self and you don't feel worthy enough to be able to engage with another human being because you don't value the greatness within you. To thine own self be true. It is so important. You really want to be with other amazing people? You really want to live in the house of greatness? And I'm reminded about this every single day, my friend, and that is honor you. You cannot fill up someone else's cup when yours is empty. I've tried it. Believe me. And so when you tap into something that's outside of you, but flows through you and within you, around you, with you, as you, now it's like being pipelined into the universe and your cup overfloweth. And when it overflows, you can't help but fill everybody else up who's around you. That's the way we're made. That's the way we roll. But when you are in a deficit, you're not in a thrive ideology. You're in a survival ideology. And you will do everything possible to get yours. I ask people all the time. I don't ask them how they're doing. I ask them how they're feeling. You want to change a conversation with someone? Quit asking them how they're doing. Because when you ask them that, it's a cognitive response. They're going to tell you all the things that they're doing. They're going into their head. Head dead, heart smart. You want to get in their heart? Ask them how they're feeling. How you feeling today, my brother? How you feeling, my sister?
Chuck, those are some knowledge bumps, man. This is really, really good. I tell you, we have to go back and listen to this regarding the value. How do someone begin to know their value? Because it's one thing, I mean, if you kind of out there and say, you know what, I do want better, I want to change, I want something different, but I don't even know who I am, Chuck. Chuck, I don't know me. I don't know who I am. The only thing I know about me is the lies that people said about me, but I don't know my values. I need to find my own identity. What would you tell them to do?
Sure. Here's the truth. We're all meaning makers. It's never about the events in our life. You can take twin boys born minutes apart that go through the exact same experience, and they have two completely different lifestyles. Yet, if you ask them, how did this happen? They'll tell you, how could I not turn out this way? Look who my father was. Look at my life conditions. Look at who my mother was. And it's like, but yet one's a PhD professor at Brown University, and the other one is sitting in a prison cell trying to figure out the next appeal he's going to file. So one went into, I'll never be like that. The other one was like, I'm going to be just like that. So we're all meaning makers. Why do I go there? If you ask yourself this very simple question, there's three questions you can ask. Number one, how do I feel right now? How do I feel right now? What does that really mean to me? What does it mean to me? Because that's all that it is. You want to find out who you are? Ask what it means to you. And the last question is, if this is the way I feel, do I need to feel a different way instead? Go deep within you. Tap the vision within you. Because the truth is that we are not one thing, we're everything. You are the amalgamation of your skills, your talents, your perceptions, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your engagement on this earth. And I know all of it doesn't mean a hill full of beans if you don't take mammoth action.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Chuck, this was so amazing. So if someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
We have our community at YBL called Your Best Life, and it's yblnow.com, and desire to foster faith, family, fitness, and finance. Also fun and fantasy. Because life's too short, man. You got to play. Got to play. The other thing is that I actually host a cable television show every Thursday night. And it's actually called Your Best Life with Chuck Hogan. And you can see it on Zingo TV, but it live streams to YouTube, Facebook, to Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. So literally all you need to do is just type in Your Best Life with Chuck Hogan and you'll see the feed. And I'm grateful for this time. So blessed to be with you today, my man. Seriously, I've been looking forward to this. and you are a treat. Thank you for your love, light, and your energy, how you show up, and for the engagement. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.